Hello again and welcome back to the Chassis Variant series, Global Domination, Glorious Domination, Critical Domination series at this point, with the Huntsman, and we're on with the B variant. I quite like the B variant. It's a triple ballistic, triple energy build. It has no specific field function other than the fact that it's kind of an all-rounder, a bit like the A really, and yeah, it's pretty damn good, and it's on my favourite map, Caustic Valley. Man, I love this map. So, yeah, it's an ER PPC, an LB10, some pulse lasers, and a couple of machine guns. Hardpoint wise, they're kind of spread around, but you do actually have two of your ballistics in a side torso, but the rest of it's in its arms. So again, one of the major drawbacks I think of the Huntsman as a overall is that a lot of its weaponry is kind of arm mounted, and if you can blow off one or both of the arms, you do limit the options for the pilot, regardless of what Omnipod setup they're using. It's still going to hamper them greatly. So you should always keep that in mind when going up against Huntsman. Try and get the arms. Nowadays, I think, when I've come across Huntsman more regularly these days, it's usually been some manner of SRM build, because I guess that's about as imaginative as you can get. Also the fact that I guess that's just what works now. This is just like, if it can't dump a shitload of lasers into you, it's going to dump a shitload of missiles into you instead. Ballistics has gone the way of the dodo virtually. If the only time you ever really see ballistics these days is some manner of dual Gauss build, or possibly some kind of high ballistics like light or heavy machine gun build. And I guess some people would lament the days of the Dakar, but now it's the laser build still the vomit. That's you know, really the best you're going to get out of it. But I do really like the Bravo. It's high heat, that's for certain, and yeah, the ER PPC is in a nice position in the mech though. It's good for peak shooting, which does allow it to kind of pop out, get shot, pop back down into cover. And on Caustic, one of my favourite tactics in it, I'd be surprised if anyone watching this doesn't know this already, but the reason I keep going to heat vision is because it allows you to see through the smoke in the middle of the map. So if you do decide you want to peek shoot like that, always activate your night vision beforehand, because sometimes mechs aren't watching the same way, and they will get hit without actually being able to more accurately return fire to you. A little bit of a tip there that's really old from me. So yeah, I mean, it's still, I think it's a good version. I've been pleasantly surprised with the Nobori ever since it arrived. It's a fantastic visual update of an already very cool looking battle mech, and I was quite happy with this match as well. It was a good fight. I think Caustic more often than not does bring out a good fight in teams nowadays. It used to be regularly lamented as being a NASCAR map, but more recently, and when I say recently, in the last several months, when I've had the rare occasion of being able to drop on this map, it usually does turn into a pretty nasty knife fight between both teams. Yeah, sure, you still get the flanking round the sides, but when the fight kicks off, it's brutal. I think it's one of the real simplistic joys of Caustic is that it can draw out some of the best brawls in MWO. I think it's just because the map is just so basic. It's just such a simple design layout that just forces teams to get in close with each other, which other maps generally don't. They kind of have an emphasis on trying to get the teams to break up a bit, or go to the usual spots for like a death ball or trying to snipe from. And this map just, I don't know, for some reason it just seems to do that with players. You either get the adventurous ones who cut across the middle and they'll like just try and cut off team members, especially the slow movers at the back, or you just get a team that'll just all death ball around one side and there'll just be a huge fight. And this was a great round for me for kill steals. My damage isn't particularly high, but I'm on point stealing them kills. I really am in this one. But I don't know, I'm not really sure if it's a mech that's meant to pick up kills. I always think that the clan medium range is, most of their mechs are kind of support builds, other than some of the genuine steely-eyed killers out there like the Nova Prime, which is clearly built just to do one thing: shoot you with all the lasers and melt you quickly. But I found that more recently with things like the Black Lana, with the Huntsman here, the Viper, the Ice Ferret, a lot of the clan medium mechs are built to do sort of a hybrid scout harassment role, and not so much the heavy hitting like the the heavies and the assaults do for the clan side, and the lights in the clan lineup are generally built, I think, to be a mix of scout and light hunter themselves. So because when they always went up against Innisphere mechs, most clan lights are bringing the same kind of firepower as 40 to 45 tonners in the Innisphere range, and then the clan mediums are some of them are bringing firepower that's equal to Innisphere heavies at times. And then the heavies are even more deadly after that. You know, it's this escalation of firepower that the clans bring. And the Huntsman is a good example of that in the 50-ton weight class. And it's still got, you know, jump jets, decent speed, and a pretty good lineup of weaponry. It's just a bit hot, that's the only thing. So if you're going to ever go with a B, or if you haven't tried it, the Alpha and the Bravo are very good. I think they're not too overly complicated with the builds, that you need too many fingers to use all the weapon groups. Whereas I think the Prime and the Charlie, on the other hand, are the other way around. There's a lot of weapons you have to take into account, and you'll see that with the C variant. But this map is pretty much finished. There was a disconnect that was over where I'm looking now, basically behind the rocks. And the rest of the team were just carrying off the domination map. So, glorious domination with a domination victory. Oh, it's almost meta in and of itself. Oh well, have a good one, folks. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye.